Hi everyone. So I know that we had planned to do Shakespeare next, and that is what's in the syllabus. However, after going through the poetry unit, I felt like we needed a little bit more time on literary concepts before we could really jump into Shakespeare and have fruitful discussions and learning. So we're going to skip ahead to the next drama unit, and we are going to do A Raisin in the Sun. And I think you guys will really enjoy this. I know a lot of you had mentioned that you enjoyed the Langston Hughes poem, and so this is along the same vein as Langston Hughes. And in fact, in this unit, we're going to also study another Langston Hughes poem, as well as Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. So this is about the early 20th century, and it is an African-American family and basically their struggles. There are a few things in Raisin in the Sun that I want you to pay attention to, and so when you come across them or you start to understand them, just constantly be taking down notes as you read. I want you to take notes of the characters' dreams, any symbolism, because this is chock full of symbolism. I want you also to take note of the minor characters and why they are essential, because they are essential in the story. So what makes them essential? Take notes, write down their names. Also, there are character changes in this. So we have some dynamic characters that go through changes. I want you guys to note down when our main characters especially go through a change, which again, what we're learning, they're not static or flat, they are dynamic. So I want you to take note of that. 3 acts to this play, and you are going to tackle 1 act a week. And I know that this is kind of a lot because you're still finishing up Frankenstein, so I didn't assign any essays this week so that you can really work on your Frankenstein unit to finish that up as we slide into A Raisin in the Sun. This play centers around the family in the story getting $10,000 and figuring out what to do with it. One person wants to invest it, one person wants to go to medical school, one person wants a house. And to help you to understand, we all know houses nowadays do not cost $10,000. So what, in our view, what would they do with $10,000? Why is, yes, it would be nice if we all got $10,000, but this $10,000 to them was 100% life-changing. And that's what I want you to understand. So I have some economic comparisons as to what you could do with $10,000 then in 1955 compared to now. So in 1955, $1 would be today $9. So what you could get for $1, my birds are so loud. What you could get for $1 in 1955 would now cost $9.06. So the amount that they had, $10,000, $90,611.57. So you're going from $10,000 in 1955, which, let's be honest, I know you guys are teenagers. It probably seems like so long ago, but it really, really isn't. So $10,000 then, $90,000 now. That's huge. And yes, you could buy a house for $97,000. So that increases over 900%. That's inflation for you. Okay. So one of the characters wants to go to medical school with that. Well, $10,000, we know the cost of college today. That's not happening for $10,000. That may get you a year of community college. Yeah, I think it's $9,000 for hack. Compared to now. So let's say a year, and this is University of Pennsylvania, okay, Penn, which is Ivy League. Okay, in 1955, a year of education would cost $800. Today, a year of education costs $54,000. Actually, I think it's more. This is 2017, but the cost of college has gone up even since then. It goes up every year. So that's for medical school. So for medical school, for her to get $10,000, she would have been able to fund her entire medical school career because it was only $800 a year. So yeah, just think about that. So the house, the mother's dream is to get a house. And so I'm going to read this to you. According to public records, the house Lorraine Hansberry's father purchased at 6140 South Rhodes Avenue was last sold in 2006 for $285,000. Lorraine Hansberry is the person who wrote Raisin in the Sun. Okay? So it was sold in 2006, $285,000, and it has 3,918 square feet, which is a pretty big house. In 1990, just in 1990, that house sold for $50,000. So in a matter of 16 years, it went from $50,000 to $285,000. Inflation. So the argument that they could have bought a house for $10,000 is 100% valid. So she could have bought the house. So with $10,000, they could have gotten medical school paid for, and then had some extra. They could have bought this big, beautiful house. So, oh my gosh, yeah, it's just, inflation is crazy. So the other thing that this play tackles is segregation, and so I want to keep that in your mind. So we know what segregation is, right? Where they kept African Americans and white families in separate neighborhoods. And so that's part of what the problem is in this story. I think they want to move into, a white neighborhood. And there's something in here in my research I found called redlining, which I never heard of. So I'm going to read this to you because I didn't know, and I think it's important to know. So redlining. Beginning in the early 1930s, a ranking system developed to represent neighborhoods in the northern and southern states as implemented as a means to ensure segregation of blacks and whites. Redlining is the practice of arbitrarily denying or limited financial services to specific neighborhoods, generally because its residents are people of color or are poor. The Youngers neighborhood, the Youngers is the family in the play. The Youngers neighborhood definitely suffered from this practice. Without bank loans and insurance, redlined areas lacked the capital essentials for investment and redevelopment. Without financial commitments to the area, the whole sections of the metropolitan areas fell into despair. The system included 4 strata, from the highest to the lowest: A green, B blue, C yellow, D red. Neighborhoods that were integrated, containing Jews or foreigners, were given the rating of B or C. Those with any black presence at all, regardless of class, were rated a D. Red, hence the moniker redlining. The consequence of such rating ranged from outright denial of mortgages to denial of home insurance for prospective residents of red neighborhoods, thereby preventing black families the right to private housing, barring them from the very thing that provides security and wealth, and confining them to neighborhoods designed by local and federal government. Public housing. The most troubling fact about redlining was that its existence was not clandestine or off the books. These were mandates enacted and enforced by the Federal Housing Administration, created in 1933, an agency whose influence dictated how and with whom banks would invest their money. The FHA created rating maps that designated where neighborhoods fell within the housing stratum. Banks used these maps to guide their decisions on where mortgage funds would be allocated. Thus, the FHA fervently discouraged mortgage lenders from granting loans to residents of red neighborhoods or black home buyers seeking to purchase property in predominantly white neighborhoods. And so that's what we're up against with Raisin in the Sun. And so you're going to see a lot of things that they went through with segregation, with making really large decisions, what they can do, what they can't do, how they're held back from certain things. And so the question that I'm going to leave with you today is, what is the American dream? So this family, they have a lot of dreams. They got this money and they have a lot of dreams. Medical school, a house, investing money. Those are their American dreams. So what is your American dream? What do you think the cliche American dream is? That's going to be the message board for today. So I'm just wondering, do you think that some people now are barred from the American dream? Do you think that people from the past were barred from the American dream? Let's discuss this. And remember, there are no wrong answers. We're just going to discuss. All right. Thank you, guys.